Hi, and welcome to another episode of Life's Worth Remembering. It's where our guests have the opportunity to recall and share their lives so that everyone can enjoy the whole process. Today's guest is Chris Kingsley. Now, Chris Kingsley was born in 1958 in Newport Pagnell. Apparently, that's where the Aston Martins have been manufactured. And what we're going to do is we're going to cover Chris's early life, as we do in these series. And then we're gonna go forward and look at the times of his life and the best times of his life going forward and any challenges he might have had as well over the years. So first of all, I'm gonna get Chris to introduce himself and give us a little bit of a bit of background to his life before we start a summary. Over to you, Chris.
Okay, thanks, Trevor. Thanks for having me. As you say, Aston Martins are made in Newport Pagnell, handcrafted, just like me. But when I was born, my dad was in charge of the goods yard at Newport Pagnell Station,
All right.
and he had a room. He lodged at the rectory in a tiny village called Milton Keynes.
Oh,
And
before they
which it was
developed it.
before Milton Keynes was itself was built. So yeah, tiny little village which is now buried in within Milton Keynes. But my mum worked for her mum, who at what was then called a school for maladjusted boys, which she'd bought and financed herself in Wavendon, just outside Milton Keynes. Dad used to cycle down the leafy lanes, as they were in those days, of Buckinghamshire to court my mum. And when I was born, the first year of my life was at the cottage that was attached to this boys' school.
And how long were you there for?
Just a year. So
Just
I
a
was
year.
I was here then a year there for a year, and then Dad wanted to move to London.
All right.
So he came from a very poor background in Wellingborough, where I now live. 8 of them in a 2-bedroom terraced house.
So the irony of you've gone back to Wellingborough
Gone
after.
full circle, a circle after many years to a place I didn't really know because he never really talked about it. But interesting to find out over the last few years about the place he grew up.
Right, so where did you grow up then in terms of early school life? And
Yeah, well, we moved. My grandmother, who was quite well off, would you believe, lent them her flat in Beaufort Street, which is in Chelsea between King's Road and the Thames.
oh wow,
So
nice area,
super
yeah,
posh.
yeah.
They spent a year there. That's where my sister was born, and then she also lent them the deposit on their first house, £300 for a £3,000 house in Beckenham in Kent. And to my knowledge, it's still Barnmead Road is the name of the road. Is still the only road that's never been tarmacked or cobbled in London.
All
So I
right,
believe.
okay,
So yeah, still it's a conservation area now. So the house is worth a fortune. Wasn't when we lived in it, but it is
no,
now.
yeah.
And then when I was 1966, when I was 8, we moved up to Enfield, and I went to Raglan Junior School and then to Chase School in Enfield.
Which is the same school as mine, yeah,
Same
yeah,
same school as Trevor's, yeah. So we didn't really know each other at school, but interesting to compare notes now.
yeah, definitely, yeah. And what was your time at school? Did you enjoy that time of your life?
Yeah, I did. I've got to say I did. I was quite a quiet kid, never really got into trouble, never really said very much. But one of our teachers called Vic Van Graan, who I think one of the legends of the school, persuaded me to have a go for the rugby team. And so it changed my life. It certainly did change my school life. We did very well as a rugby team, and we automatically became prefects just because the teachers thought we probably ones that could look after ourselves the best. And it was great, yeah. And then I played rugby after that until I was in my early 30s.
Right,
So thank you, Mr. Van Graan.
that's good. So, well, obviously rugby's a great social thing anyway, isn't it? So,
Sure. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
and that brings you all together and as friends.
Yeah.
So when you were during that time in Enfield, what were your parents like to you, and sort of what are the activities you got involved in as well as rugby?
Yeah, I think they approved. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, they came to see me occasionally. Dad was always busy. He worked for a travel company. But they came to see me occasionally. In the summer, I never really fancied cricket, so I did athletics. I did a couple of seasons for Well, I was the school 400 metres champion for a couple of seasons, and did a season for Enfield Harriers,
All right. Okay.
which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
Enfield Town football team now play. They were supportive, definitely.
And have you got any siblings?
Yeah, I've got 3 siblings. I'm the oldest, and there's a fair gap between us. My sister's just a year younger, but I've got another brother who's 5 years younger, another one who's 9 years younger.
Do you all get on?
We get on great. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
good.
yeah,
That's the main thing, isn't it?
yeah.
And so during those early years, when you were there, when did you move out of Enfield?
We moved out of Enfield to Broadway in Worcestershire in the Cotswolds when I was 15. So I was in what we then called the 4th year at school,
Hmm.
and had one term and then the following year in Evesham in Worcestershire, and it was quite an experience, I can tell you.
Yeah, how did you find that move? Because when you've established friendships at a certain school, then you move to the last year of another school. What, how, how was
It
that?
it was all right. Yeah, I didn't find it too bad at the new school, but it was totally different. I mean, they were well behind Enfield, even though Chase, our school, wasn't super up the wouldn't have been super up the league table. Compare it with Evesham, it was streets ahead. Had the teachers at Chase trying to push me to do my Maths level 2 years early there. When I went to Evesham, didn't really care. I went in the GCSE class, much to my parents' horror, and they said, "Don't worry, it's the same as your O-level class. Just get on with it." They were they were largely an agricultural sort of area, so I guess academic excellence wasn't particularly so
Uh,
important.
I remember the area because I used to row up that way as well when I was younger.
Okay, yeah, big rowing area.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
used to
yeah,
row at Evesham and Bewdley, which is just down the road as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
sure, yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, I understand the area. Like you say, it's quite a village environment.
Yeah, the lads in the local, because in Broadway, obviously tiny village, and they had a little gang of lads that thought they were a bit tough, and young kid from London, they decided they'd maybe test me out. So walking past the famous hotel Leg and Arms in Broadway one day, and the biggest of the gang just stepped out in front of me, and I don't know, like an idiot, you could say. I thought, well, I'll just carry on walking, and I must have caught him off balance because he fell down and hit his head on the wall of the leg and arms. So I thought, I'm in big trouble here. But actually, it didn't work out that way. I told them I didn't want any trouble. I walked away from them. They walked away from me, and after that, it was all right. We were nodding acquaintances, shall we say?
So you earned a bit of respect at that stage.
Well, without meaning to, but yeah, I did. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And so from there, I mean, in terms of you took your I'm taking you took your GCSEs
yeah, 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 yeah.
at that school, and then when you left school, what was your vocation then?
Yeah, well, I loved Broadway now, but at the time I hated it. Compared to London, going
Yeah,
out to a little village where everyone knows each other's business, I hated it. So I got out as soon as I could. Really, left school, left home at 17, and I got a job in Cheltenham, which lovely town, which I still love now.
oh wow, so you was independent from the age of 17 then?
Yeah, 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 got a bed sit down there with the bloke I worked with. That didn't last long. We fell out, but yeah, it was great. I worked at Cheltenham coach station, and in those days, if you bought a coach ticket, it was written out in triplicate with carbon and so on, and one copy went to what they call the chart room, the local chart room, and that's where I worked. So I spent all my day charting tickets onto plans so that the driver would know who he was picking up and where.
And how long were you there for?
A couple of years, but I we'd come to the summer of '76 by then, the hot summer,
Oh, that was a hot summer.
and
Yeah.
so I'd be working 7 days a week in the summer at the coach station, and I'd walk out in my lunch hour, and there was a place called Imperial Gardens in Cheltenham, which is where all the kids used to hang out. They'd sit in groups and play guitars and sing and drink, and there was always a line of I don't know, 50, 60, 70 motorbikes all there, and I thought, that's what I want. I'm in the wrong job. I don't want to be working 7 days a week in a suit while these guys are having fun. So I, shall we say, engineered my fate. Um, I don't know if it's the same nowadays, but then if you resigned from a job, you didn't get your dole money for a couple of months. but if you got the sack, you got the dole money immediately. So that's what I did. I basically truanted, took unauthorised time from work until they gave me a final warning and said, if it happens again, I'm going to sack you. So that was my way out, really.
All right. What did you
So
do after that then?
I had a wonderful the summer of '76. I was basically spent all my time up the Imperial Gardens with the other lot. It was a wonderful summer, on the dole, not working, brilliant sunshine every day, and getting to know all the sort of young people in Cheltenham.
Right. That,
Um,
is that when you sort of got into biking? Or-
yeah, definitely. Well, yeah, I suppose the people I shared a flat with in the first place were kind of hippie, patchouli, Afghan coat type guys, well into dope and all that kind of thing, which I did partake in and for a couple of years, but I think I grew out of that kind of thing, all the hey man kind of stuff, and I got very much in with the biker crowd, and that was it really. Been hooked on bikes ever since.
Was that with the biker crowd? Was it what was the music like there? What was it? What was the genre of music that they enjoyed? Was it
Well,
rock?
yeah, basically headbanging, which I used to take the mickey out of people for.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a great club called the Pavilion Club in Cheltenham. It's not there anymore; it's been demolished. But they had a rock night once a week, and everyone went there. Basically, all of the biker groups from all around, and all of the hippie kids, and all that sort of thing. It was a great place.
So you didn't get involved in the Hell's Angels in the local area then?
No, not really. No, no. Name of my bike club was the Cossacks. We still meet nowadays. Every couple of times a year, we still meet. But we weren't. None of us really wanted to be Hell's Angels. We weren't that dedicated. Really, we just wanted to be kids having fun on bikes. And we had our own clubhouse in the middle of Cheltenham. And the police were very good. They didn't enforce any licensing laws, or they didn't worry about smoking a bit of dope down there or whatever. They just wanted to contain us, and it worked. Great place.
So after partying in 1976 for a year, just hanging out with all the guys and girls, what did you do after that?
Well, a mate of mine was a maintenance engineer at a local factory, and I shared a flat with him. And he came back one day and said, "Looking for a labourer. Do you fancy it?" And I said, "Yeah, I do." Yeah, it was. I think it was October then, so the summer had finished, and I was looking for work. So I started as a labourer in this factory. And yeah, well, we didn't get off to a great start. We both overslept on the first morning and arrived about 2 hours late. But they agreed to give us a second chance, or give me a second chance, and I was there for a while. Enjoyed it.
How many years were you there for?
I was there for a couple of years, and then he left, my mate left, and I got his job as assistant maintenance engineer, but with no particular skills. And I wanted to go and get myself skilled. So I went to what they called in those days a skill centre, 6-month government sponsored course. And it was great. I loved the course. Came out of it, and once you come out, they class you as semi-skilled, which
Mm.
gives you certain buying power in the market, if you like.
And so did you when you left the maintenance group, where did you go then?
I got a job in a company that made honing machines, polishing barrels. And I started the job. It was a good job, good pay, but the union threatened to go on strike. They said, "You've employed a semi-skilled guy. All the rest of the people on the team are skilled, so he's got to go or we go out on strike." So my boss at the time called me in and said, "Look, this is the problem. We've got the unions kicking up." He said, he said, "I like you. I like you. You're obviously a good worker." He said, "Buy yourself a good toolkit, because all the skilled men don't have a good toolkit." And he said, I'm going to put you on a sort of probation. And if after 6 months you're still doing a good job, I'm prepared to give you your green card. So you're a skilled man." So he did me a big favour, that bloke. Yeah.
So you came out with your green card and
Came out with a green card as a skilled machine tool fitter. And yeah, I mean, I never was fully skilled, as it were, but yeah, it's a great job. I really enjoyed it.
did you continue that type of work?
No, I was made redundant. Where are we now? We're about 1981 now, made redundant. So I decided to go travelling for a year, stuck a pack on my back and went around Europe and slept on beaches and had a great time. And then when I came back, my dad, who was then running his own travel company, said, "Do you want a job?" So that was the end of 81. and I was in travel until 2019. So I think that's what 38 years.
So you stuck with that role for all that time then until you
Y-
retired?
Yeah, 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 and all the same thing. I mean, my dad's company was arranging tours for school groups.
Right.
So he'd do 5 days on the Isle of Wight or Paris or Scotland or whatever. Interesting visits on the way and while they were there, and that's what I always did. I didn't do it for schools, I did it for adults. I started my own company in 2007 for tours for adults, but basically doing the same thing as my dad used to do, educational type trips.
So they were pretty bespoke type, travelling arrangements for
Pretty
different
bespoke.
groups, yeah.
Yeah, I used to design the tours and put them together and negotiate the deals and then sell the package onto a coach company. So the coach company stick it in their brochure and it would be their tour, but I would have put it together.
Oh, okay. And was that a good business for you?
Yeah, it was a very good business. It did me well for 12 years, and I picked up some American clients as well. So they would want, obviously, send groups of Americans over and to see the honeypots of England. So I'd got a couple of very good American clients out of it as well.
Well, that's good. Well, did they come over here for the golf or just for
No,
fun?
no, no. It was either students
Yeah.
on educational tours, or it was I had a very good client who did Celtic music tours. So they would come over and want to play in 3 or 4 places and bring their supporters or their fans with them, and they were fantastic tours to organise, and they went really well.
And so, Chris, did you have to do any sort of research prior to that? Go and experience it yourself?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I travelled a lot, driving around the UK and loved Ireland as well. And I guess you could say that was my speciality, Britain and Ireland. And because I was selling to coach operators, they knew their own stuff. They didn't want an idiot selling them a tour that didn't work. They wanted to know that I'd been to see the hotels, that I'd driven the routes, that I knew what I was talking about. So yeah, that was the best part of the job, just driving around, learning about stuff.
Oh, that's good. And during that, I mean, obviously 2007's not, well, for me, it's not that long ago because obviously we're at a certain age. But earlier than that, did you get a family together?
But yeah, definitely, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, had, so I was married in '86,
All right. Yeah.
and, we started producing pretty soon. First child born in '88, and I've got, yeah, 4 wonderful kids, now adults, of course, in their 30s,
Yeah.
and got families of their own. So, yeah, I'm a happy dad and
Granddad.
granddad, yeah.
Yeah. Did you get to see them all?
Yeah, most of the time. There's some distance now because I moved to Wellingborough, so it's, every couple of months, I suppose, I see them, and either I go to Hereford, where certainly one of my daughters has got a family down there, and I've got a son with his newborn son in Staffordshire, and another daughter with her big family in Liverpool, and then my youngest is in Australia.
Oh, wow. So they're all over the place then.
All over the place, yeah, yeah. I love to travel anyway, so I get to travel when I see them.
Did you go to Australia?
Yeah, been out 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where,
yeah.
where's she based then?
She's based in Perth,
Perth. Oh, right. Okay. It's the other
but
side, isn't it? It's
yeah,
Sydney. Yeah.
couldn't see the point of travelling all the way to the other side of the world and not seeing a bit of the rest of Australia as well. So it's normal. I've been over 3 times, and I spend a few days with her, and then a few days touring.
Oh, nice. Yeah. And in terms of the travel side of things, when you're doing all the traveling, did you have any uh, groups of people that kicked up or had any, caused any problem for you during that process? How does it
Uh,
work with the insurance and that sort of thing?
in terms of insurance, for me, it was all right because I was a middleman. So the people weren't actually booking with me; they were booking with the coach company whose office they'd gone into. So in terms of insuring, they had to the coach operator had to insure them, but I had to have my liability thing. I mean, if I put some arrangements together that went hopelessly wrong, then I need obviously I had to have liability against that.
Cover for that, yeah,
Yeah,
obviously,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And did you have to go out with the groups at all, or did it just because I'm guessing the coach companies organise it, so you're just the person that's researched it, produced it, designed the tour.
Yeah,
You
I'm completely out of the picture. No, none of the people on the coach would have actually heard of me. So I didn't go out with the groups very much. In fact, I preferred to do all the research by myself. Obviously, meet interesting people on the way around. But yeah, so you can think better by yourself. And within any one group, there's always the people that will monopolize your time as well. Not always the people you want to be monopolized by, but yeah, they're a lovely lot, though.
Yeah? Oh, good. And I guess that's fulfilled you from a work perspective all these years. What was your passion during that period? Did you have any hobbies or such, during that time?
Yeah, I'm the sort of person that needs to take on new stuff all the time. So I've had various passions over the years. Obviously, the kids were a passion when they were growing up.
Yeah.
And then obviously, as most dads will know, there comes a time, especially for teenage girls, when they can't see the point of dad anymore. So at that point, then I got into politics, and actually to the point where I stood for Parliament a couple of times, only for a minor party. But there we go. It was a great experience, and met some interesting people, and yeah, it was good.
Yeah, would you do it again?
I haven't got the energy to do it again. I think you've got to be you've got to be tramping the streets. You've got to be schmoozing people all the time. You've got to be sitting in radio stations and so on. It's exhausting. So no, I don't think I'd do it again. I would and do help out a little bit, leafleting and all that sort of thing, because it all keeps me fit. But no, I don't think I'd do the whole process again.
No, no, no. So in terms of your hobbies and that sort of thing, that was, well, I guess it's a background thing, but you enjoyed doing that because it's getting you in the front line. You're going out and trying to promote your
Yeah.
own party, even though it was a minority party at the time. I
Yeah,
guess it was UKIP, wasn't it?
it was UKIP. Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. And I guess now we can call it reform.
Well, UKIP still exists, I think, but
Yeah,
Reform has pretty much taken over the
over.
baton, and they're saying exactly the same as UKIP did back when I joined in '97, I think it was. So
Yeah,
it's just that it's becoming more acceptable to believe those sort of things and say those sort of things.
yeah. I think that they're a much stronger party now. They certainly were years ago, anyway. So
Yeah,
you might have actually ended up being an MP if you'd stayed
if
there.
I'd saw an MEP, yeah,
Well,
I
I
stood
mean,
for a European election as well. But yeah, that would have been interesting being an MEP.
you
Yeah.
mentioned in the pre-interview that you got into acting as well, and you're very heavily involved in the theatre group. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely in several theatre groups. Yeah, I had enough of politics, and particularly I did it for 10 years, '97 to 2007, and then had a few years away from it, rest or whatever, and then came back and did a couple of years leading up to the Brexit referendum. But in the meantime, I'd started doing acting, and I'd never done it before, not even at school. I don't remember being in a school play or anything
Yeah.
like that. In my late 40s, I signed up for an evening class called Acting for Grown-Ups and didn't really know what it was. But basically, it was what they call improvisation, which is doing silly things, making stuff up, and walking around the rooms and body eye contact and all that kind of physical theatre. And I absolutely loved it. Took to it like a duck to water. So from there, I kind of learned a little bit and joined 3 local theatre groups, because if they were doing something that I didn't really want to be in, then I could always see what the other groups were doing and audition for that.
All right. So, and that was how many productions did you actually get involved in?
Well, like most things, I kind of threw myself into it completely. So probably about 8 or 9 years, I was flat out doing acting, one show to another,
Hmm.
which probably not the easiest bloke to be married to, really, because I've got my head in something, travel or acting or politics or whatever, and head not always in the marriage, maybe. But I did loads of shows.
Yeah.
Um,
And what was your most favourite show that you really sort of thought went down well?
I've done Calendar Girls, which was great fun. Uh, yeah, Calendar Girls was
What's that
was a
with?
great one.
What with man boobs or?
No, 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 no. I didn't dress as a woman. No, no, no. If you watch Calendar Girls, there's a couple of husbands involved.
Oh, is there?
So I was one of the husbands,
Yeah.
and but when it came, everybody doing. I mean, it was amateur dramatics. It wasn't professional,
Yeah.
but every group that was doing it produced a calendar
Hmm.
when they photographed and obviously produced a calendar for their particular theatre group, because it was good money. They'd sell
Yeah.
well. And us blokes said, well, can't we have a page in the calendar? Because all the women were, being photographed naked with stuff in front of their boobs and so on. And they said, yeah, all right, well, let's go for a photo shoot. And I was the only one of the three of us that take their pants off. And they said, well, it's no good unless the whole thing is you've got to be nude. And I was the only one that had the balls to, see what I mean? that was prepared to take my pants off. So they said, well, in that case, then we can't do it. Even though we were covering those areas, the areas that the man parts, they still need you to be naked. That's the whole principle of the thing. But that was great fun. It was great fun performing it and so on, and being part of the team. And another one was The Mockingbird, which is a fantastic
crikey, yeah.
story. Lovely, lovely story. And that was just a nice one to be part of. And there's another one called Journey's End about World War One, which is a classic, apparently. Do you know the final scene of Blackadder where they all go over the top, and it's very emotional and so on? And that's based on this real play called Journey's End. Very emotional. Half the audience were crying, and it was just so lovely to be part of.
And how long did that run for?
What, the actual play?
Yeah.
Typically, it was about 4 or 5 nights.
All right. Okay.
So with the professionals might do it for month after month, but when the amateurs do it, it's usually sort of like 3, 4, 5 nights.
Yeah. And you still doing it?
Not front stage, not on the stage.
No.
When I first moved to so my marriage broke down in beginning of 2020, and I'd just bought a house in Wellingborough, where my dad grew up, and I originally bought it as a buy-to-let house. But then when I split from my wife, I thought, well, I've just bought the house, I might as well live in it, and so I decided to settle in Wellingborough. And I moved in at the end of January 2020, and lockdown started in March, I think.
Right.
So I had a few weeks of going round trying to. I actually did speak to quite a few sort of drama groups and so on, but then the whole lot closed down for a couple of years, so it took all the impetus there. But thankfully, my local theatre had some vacancies for stewards, so I go and steward there regularly and duty manage there occasionally, and so I see the shows and meet the public and absolutely love it.
Right. Have you got any good backstage stories that you can tell us?
Good backstage stories. Well, I mean, you always have an awful lot of fun when you're rehearsing.
Yeah.
And I suppose that Journey's End I was telling you about. There was a very plummy guy, friend of mine, who was not confident on his lines, and he asked me if I'd go through his lines in the dressing room with him between scenes. And we were going through the lines, and suddenly we heard over the tannoy that goes in the dressing room, Chris, this guy, other guy's name was Chris. He said, Chris, to the stage. And apparently they've been calling him to stage for about 10 minutes, and he completely missed his cue. And he said, oh, fuck. Yeah, ran down there, and the others have been sort of ad-libbing on stage for goodness knows how long.
Go for it.
Yeah, but there's lots of stories like
Yeah,
that. It's just good fun.
I can imagine. Yeah, it's good. It's a good community, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's social with that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And what are you doing now then in terms of social activity? I know you've retired now, and you probably retired just at the right time before COVID hit.
I was very lucky I downscaled my company in October 2019 with no idea that COVID was going to hit. But I just fancied sort of taking a back seat. So the guy that was working for me took the company over, and I walked away just in time. So that was the good news. I walked away just in time for the trouble. But the bad news was that he was going to buy the company. He was going to use commission for the next couple of years to buy the company off me.
Oh, on a gradual basis.
Yeah. So he had no cash to buy it. So I said, well, just give me a cut of the tours for the next couple of years. And of course, there were no tours because of COVID.
Oh, no.
So I walked away just in time, but I also lost 2 years of commission out of it. But
no.
There we go.
Right. And what you've been doing since then?
Well, working at the theatre, that is one of my passions at the moment. I've got a new lovely lady in my life. She lives in Essex. She lives an hour and a half away from me, and we see each other at weekends. So that pretty much takes up all my weekends, either travelling to Essex or her coming over to me. And going out and doing things. Obviously, I see the kids when I can.
Mhm.
I volunteer at local Wellingborough Museum, just it's only half a day a week, but it keeps me busy. And I've always been a crazy collector as well. I've always collected football programs ever since I was a kid. So I've always got something I can turn my hand to if I feel bored.
Right, and who do you support?
I support West Ham.
Oh, no, do you?
So I'm afraid I mean, well, as Trevor will say, I mean, most of the kids at our school were Tottenham fans.
Yeah.
So I went to Tottenham for a lot of times, really. But my heart was with West Ham. So as soon as I was old enough, I took myself off and watched them.
Right, okay. Well, down in Essex well, you've gotta go right away down to East London to get that now, haven't you?
Well, the funny thing is, I go whenever I go and see my lady, I travel by train.
Yeah.
And because us over 60s can get a cheap rail card, and it actually works out cheaper than driving. So I go down to St Pancras and then up from Liverpool Street to Colchester to meet her, and always past the West Ham ground every there and back. So yeah, it's
Done it myself. We cycle past it. We go down the old, towpath,
yeah, yeah,
into London.
yeah. Nice part of town,
Oh,
actually. That
yeah,
yeah.
that's good. And it obviously, going back over those years with, you've been retired now for quite a while, haven't you?
Yeah, well, I no, I didn't actually know. I've missed a little bit out because I wanted to keep myself busy, and I got a job with an agency job with Primark at the main distribution depot in near Kettering,
Alright.
unloading boxes out of containers, which sounds horrendously boring, but I actually loved it. I love being part of a team. There's a lot of banter going on, met a lot of new people, and good bit of social life with it, and it kept me fit. So I did that for 3 years. So that was the bit between retiring from travel and
Yeah.
actually retiring from work completely.
Having been involved in travel, do you still travel a lot yourself?
Yeah, whenever I can. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, the night I travel with Angela, my partner, and we've had some lovely trips together. But I also, she still works Monday to Friday, I can then take myself off somewhere, and
Yeah.
it doesn't affect her because she wouldn't be seeing me anyway. So yeah, I travel whenever I can. I love it.
And do you still like going to the theatre on your own as well?
Well, I get to see when I steward.
Yeah.
You've got to be in looking after the audience, so you get to see the shows, and I guess you are by yourself, but you're part of the team as well.
Mm.
So yeah, I do that, and luckily I'm an old rocker, so and most of the stewards are older. They're not into the rock scene, so if I request that, I usually get it. So I can get a few good rock gigs out of it as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. And so if we look at your life now, I mean, if you go back over it, what were the most memorable moments, and was there any challenges that you had during that period?
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of good memorable moments. I mean, there's lots of travel highs and political highs, and enjoy being on the stage and so on. So yeah, I'd a pretty good life. Lows, well, yeah, obviously growing apart and splitting from my wife was a difficult one. My kids took that really badly, and has taken me a long time to get their confidence back and to see them regularly. So that was tough, particularly during lockdown.
Yeah, yeah,
And a little bit of a cancer scare during lockdown as well, which thank goodness didn't develop into anything, but it did mean I had to go for treatment by myself without my kids and without that kind of area of support. So that was hard going. Um, Thankfully, we're through all that.
yeah. So that was probably your main challenges then, I guess, after the divorce from your wife.
Yeah, I'd never really been alone. And even though lockdown for me was, I mean, I thought it was going to be horrendous, but I actually enjoyed it. Enjoyed exploring Wellingborough and getting out and seeing the local area and so on. But not having the kids' support and even contact for a long time was, yeah, that was a low point. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I know what it's like when I left my first wife, and the kids obviously didn't didn't really appreciate that at the time because they were
sure.
only 13 and 10, and I know exactly what it's like. It takes a long time to regain the trust, and also, I mean, I'm very fortunate. I still have a friendship with my previous wife, but
Yeah.
it's difficult. I understand understand it's difficult to go through that process.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
really
sure. It's a difficult process, but thankfully, I mean, a bit of hard work, to be fair, on my part, and a bit of confidence building with them. But thankfully, we're hopefully through that.
all right. And taking in your life into consideration, what are the things that you would like to you could advise our audience that are looking in on? You know, things that you've experienced that you probably would think that, oh, you know, I've learned something there that may be a benefit to other people.
Yeah, strangely enough, I was having a long chat with my brother. As I've said, I get on really well with my siblings, and we chat a lot.
Mm.
But I was just talking about life in general the other day, and he said, "Do you know what?" He said, "You know what I've noticed in the last couple of years? You've been you. You've been the person that I've always thought you are, because you're doing things for yourself. You've realised who you are, and you realise what motivates you in life and what doesn't motivate you in life, and you've got it right. So I guess that's the thing. It's a real cliche, but just be yourself. Make sure that if you are looking to get married or looking to make a life change, that it's really what you want for you, and that you're not just doing it for someone else. So I think that's the main thing.
Yeah, it's not to fear change and to actually take on what you're doing as a person and
Yeah,
to look at yourself and say, what do I really want out of life? It's me. What
yeah,
do I want and what do I want to
totally. Yeah,
be?
yeah,
Yeah.
and hopefully if you're with the right person, that what you want is what they want as well. So that's important. I've learned the importance of that, really.
Uh-huh. And the podcast series is called Life's Worth Remembering. What would you like to be remembered for?
Well, like I said, I've always tried different things. Every few years, I've gone on to something else, and I think I know your question is how I would like to think of it, but from my kid's perspective, I'd like to think Dad was a bit of an idiot at times, but he was adventurer. He was out there. He was interesting. He was always doing new and interesting stuff. And I think talking to my siblings and my kids, I think that's how they see me,
Yeah.
and I'm happy with that.
All of us want to be remembered. That's the whole thing.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
to achieve immortality, you have to be, you know, remembered.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Chris. Well, it's been a pleasure having you on today.
Thanks for having me, Trevor.
Just go back to the audience there. Thanks for listening in to this particular podcast, Chris. Been an interesting life. If you know of anyone that's had an interesting life that would like to come and be interviewed, then let me know. Like and note down who you'd like to put forward. We're particularly low on women volunteers at the moment, so it'd be lovely to get a few women with interesting stories to tell us and come forward. But I'd like to thank you once again for listening in, and we look forward to seeing you at the next episode.
So what is your story to tell? Life's had its ups and downs. When we're looking into your soul, do we really know you that well? Tell me about the times of old, the lessons learned, the dreams you hold. How did you laugh? How did you cry? What did you leave behind? We all have a story to share, of joy, of love, of burdens we bear. So open your heart, don't keep it shelved. What's your story? And do we really know you that well? lessons learned, the dreams you hold. How did you laugh? How did you cry? What did you